One of the most exciting things about Magic Towers Resort is that it is more than just a theme park. Next to the theme park we also got the water park, Mystic Lagoon, which is what we'll be working on for a little bit more today, just like in the last episode. However, we are going to be switching it up a little bit as well, because I'd like to do a little bit of infrastructure work to prepare for the next accommodation at the resort. I hope you're excited for another episode of Magic Towers Resort. So first of all, it's time to fill in a little bit of a corner in Mystic Lagoon. One of the things I realized is that we don't really have an area for the kids yet. So I figure we could make like a little kids playground, like a water play area, where children and their parents can come, or at least the younger children can come and have some fun. Kind of being a bit off the path from the rest of the park, just to make sure that the kids don't just wander off, obviously. Is always a good idea. On top of that, like I said at the beginning, we're also going to be doing some infrastructure work and make a start on some accommodation at the resort. Not the most exciting episode, I suppose, but some of these things just need to be done, and yeah, this is just one of those times where we just had to fill in a bit of a gap in order to continue, really. So yeah. Now, just to really quickly go to real life theme parks, I think right now can be a pretty exciting time. So if you're not aware, very soon D23 will be kicking off. If you don't know what D23 is, it's an event by Disney where they basically announce all their plans for the coming years, and it's a yearly event. I believe it is. Yeah, I think it is a yearly event. It is a yearly event, and usually that's where they announce their new plans for the Disney parks all around the world. Now, one of the really interesting things is obviously the past few years, due to circumstances, not that many new projects have been started by Disney in particular. Obviously, they are completing Tron at the moment as we speak, the new roller coaster at the Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World, and there are a few other rides being built around the world as well at the same time. But in the meantime, Universal Studios in Orlando has announced a completely new park, which is called Epic Universe. And the question now is is Disney gonna come with a response to that park, and is that gonna come right now, or are they gonna maybe wait to see how that plays out first? So potentially a really exciting time. Definitely keep an eye on things like Twitter and stuff like that to see if there are any cool announcements being made. I don't think people are really sure what to expect yet, but hopefully soon we'll know a lot more. Now, speaking of Disney, you can obviously see a little bit of inspiration there in the play area. So, given the theme of the entire Mystic Lagoon Park, which is kind of like this alien planet where, people would have crash landed at some point with spaceships all around and stuff like that, I figured it would be nice to kind of make like a bit of a spaceship, make it a bit more kid-like. Obviously, in the color scheme, you can kind of see the inspiration here. But I thought it was just kind of cute to have like a little spaceship as the playground, as the water playground. Just a lot of fun, really. It's always kind of fun to make these little playgrounds. You don't get to do them too often, or at least I haven't built too many in Magic Towers so far. So it's always nice to build one. It's just a lot of fun, really. You get to play around with a little bit of architecture, just to get some of the details in there. Obviously, you can go a lot more ham than I'm actually doing. I think if you watch channels like Dirkling, who spend a bit more time on that sort of stuff, you can definitely go there for a bit more inspiration if you're interested. Now, like I said, obviously you want this area to be kind of shielded up from the rest, just to make sure that the amount of points where a child might wander off are limited, just to make sure that, the parents have an easier time keeping an eye on their kids. You commonly see this with these kinds of playgrounds. It's just one of those things that is pretty easy to design around, and it just makes it a bit easier to ease the mind of the parents, really. Yeah, so you often see that. It's usually 1 or 2 or 3 entrances to the area on different sides. And that's kind of the extent of it. And it just kind of keeps it shielded from the rest of the park, and also make sure that people don't just wander through the area if they have nothing no purpose being there, really. I'm not sure entirely how well that will work here, because obviously it does make for a pretty nice shortcut if you know your way around the park. But maybe it's an age-restricted area. Maybe you can only enter if you have small children or something like that. Who knows? We can just imagine that it works. Just adding a bit more detailing, really kind of struggling with finding ways of making this look nice and detailed as well. It's really easy to get those base shapes in there and get the rough shape going, but then actually detailing it further, get the small details in there, is obviously really hard, especially with no custom scenery as we are playing this game here. So that's kind of it for Mystic Lagoon for today, for a change. We're going to do some infrastructure work right now. I had to continue some of these roads, so I figured, you know, to not waste too much space here, I'll just turn this road into a tunnel, and it will kind of go off the map. Obviously, I do want it to look kind of nice, so I spent quite a bit of time just kind of figuring out how I wanted to do that, especially on the side of the park edge, basically. I just wanted to make sure that you could actually see the road when you're rotating the park around and you're right on the park edge. Just because it's kind of nice to see those kind of details in there. I always like it when there's a bit of consistency there, because obviously this road is underground. You would expect it to be there on the park edge. So I really like to kind of commit to that idea of that road actually continuing and potentially leading somewhere. Obviously, when I kind of started this series, one of the things I was talking about, that maybe I could have an additional map that's kind of situated next to it, and that will kind of connect to this one. There's a really cool project on Any Designs called the Hyatt Aries project, I think it was, which is really awesome. It consists of several separate parks that all kind of connect up together like puzzle pieces, and it is really quite awesome. Now, to be quite frank, I don't think I'll be able to do anything of that scale, but it's always fun to dream about that. So if I do want to make an additional theme park, I'm not sure if it will be able to fit on this map, so maybe I would get another map next to it and kind of try to make things connect in that way. Because I do have to be honest, when I do zoom out on this park, it does kind of chug along. It's having a rough time keeping up with the entire game. So building an entire theme park next to Magic Terrace Park would be a challenge, I think, for my computer. So yeah, we can think about that a bit more later. But if I am going to build another park inside of this resort, that definitely seems to be the way to go. So as you can see, the road just kind of continues there, and you can kind of see some details on the inside, like an escape tunnel and everything. Just having a bit of fun, really. It's always fun to kind of build this infrastructure, especially if you come across something new that you haven't had to build before, like a tunnel in this case. So it's kind of just fun to explore how that would look. Now, right now, we're gonna make an exit of this road into a new accommodation area. Now, one of my plans that I've had for a long time is have some accommodation along the river, like kind of villas or something like that. And I really wanted to get started on that because I was quite excited to kind of get that point across and kind of build that up and see what that would look like. I spent a little bit of time thinking about what the theme for this resort should be, or what the theme for this accommodation should be like. I ended up kind of going for like a boardwalk kind of theme. I'm not sure if that's the theme that I'm going to be sticking with, because I'm not quite sure how it would look with individual villas along the lake. I might switch it up, or maybe I'll have two different themes along this accommodation. We'll see. I still have a few different ideas that I'd like to do. I'd like to do something like an Italian village hotel or villas. Obviously, a boardwalk would be really nice to have, I think. And there are probably a few other ideas that I can think of as well. Like maybe instead of Italian, I'll do Greece, just to kind of switch it up a bit, get those white buildings with the blue roofs in and stuff like that. I think it could be really, really neat. Lots of ideas there. But do always need to make sure I kind of split up these accommodation builds, because it isn't always the most interesting part of the video. Looks like I could have actually cut out a bit of a pause there. Must have missed that. Obviously, since this is another accommodation, we want to make sure that we check everyone that drives in, just to make sure, you know, they're not trying to sneak into the parking lot and park there for free. So, got a bit of an entrance gate there, where someone, a security guard potentially, would be situated and checking if people are actually staying at that accommodation. It's always important. So I made a really small parking lot there, and my idea is, since this is going to be an accommodation where you can actually stay in a villa, like individual villas, you would most likely have a parking lot right next to the villa. So the only time when you would need to park here would be if you're, well, either driving to the restaurant because you don't want to walk, which I'm kind of hoping to make enough facilities to walk to this main building instead. And otherwise, it would be mostly just people checking in, I would assume. So in this building, I would pretend there is a main restaurant of this site, and also the check-in desk where you can get your key for the villa. And after that, you would drive off to your villa, park your car there, and unpack, relax, and enjoy your trip at Magic Towers Resort, obviously. Now, this is an interesting one because I've kind of done this theme before in a hotel build that I have not shown on YouTube, I don't think. But this is a much smaller scale. Obviously, this isn't an entire hotel, and it also means that you have a lot less space to work with. When you're building a large hotel, you can kind of get away with making things a larger scale overall, which allows you to use more scenery objects as details, because in the grand scheme of things, a much larger object can kind of come off as a small detail if you wanted to. Obviously, I was a bit limited in that regard here. But, you know, I think it works in the end. It's nicely detailed. It definitely gets a point across of like a boardwalk kind of build. And that's the most important bit. Now, here at the back, I wanted to have a bit of a viewing platform where the restaurant would be situated. Just a pretty simple little thing. And that kind of wraps up this build for now. And hopefully next time we'll be able to continue with this accommodation and actually add all the villas on the lake. And that's going to be really exciting, I think. Just because it's something different. We have done a hotel before, but we haven't done these villas before. So it'll be really fun to kind of try and get those on the lake. And it all looking very nice. So that's going to be really quite awesome. Really struggling with finding a way of actually making this look really good. But in the end, I think we pretty much got there. Anyways, that's about it for today. I've been really busy, so I'm really sorry that I don't have much more to show, and that has been a little while since the last episode. But thank you guys so much for watching, and have an awesome day. See ya.